guest tonight is a Hollywood actress who starred in one of the most fondly remembered TV shows of the 80s. Well, we couldn't resist.
This is Matt from The One Show. He's a farmer who can dance. He's quite a guy. This is Alex from The One Show. She's gorgeous. She's one lady who knows how to take care of herself. By the way, my name's Dave the Props Man, and I look after both of them, which ain't easy, because when they met, it was murder.
Please welcome from Hart to Hart the gorgeous Stefanie Powers.
You might have a future in this, but, you know, let us call you.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I mean, Hart to Hart was a classic, and lots of TV classics are now coming back and being made into films. Today, there are reports that Miss Marple is getting the Hollywood treatment.
Yes, now we usually see her like this, quintessentially English. This is the lovely Joan Hickson.
Yes, but it seems she'll now be played by Jennifer Garner, who looks like this.
Now that's a real job, isn't it? Can you imagine her on a bike?
It's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
What's the point of that? I don't quite get that. I mean, if they want to do that, why not just make a completely different format? Why not?
Well, exactly.
I mean, why call her Mrs. Marvel? Call her Mrs. Leather.
Maybe she'll be wearing twigs.
Whips and leather.
But on a bit of a serious note, why do you think it is that more experienced Hollywood actresses are not getting the big roles possibly anymore?
Oh, I don't know. You know, we've always had a little bit of an obsession with the youth culture. I think it's probably at its height now. You know, the problem is that everybody, you know, they sort of say, when you see the casting list, it sort of says the older person, which means anyone between 40 and death. And, you know, they kind of categorize everybody in this one way. And it's a little bit unfair because, by the way, we're all getting older every day.
Yeah,
So,
brilliant.
Everything comes to he who waits.
Yes, exactly.
And,
haven't you?
Well, we'll be talking more about your new book, and of course, Hart to Hart a little bit later on.
Now then, on the subject of Hollywood romances, it was revealed yesterday that screen legend Elizabeth Taylor was buried last week with a treasured love letter from Richard Burton, a letter that she'd kept next to her bed for the last 27 years.
Oh, it shows that their affection for each other never waned, and it was through Burton that Taylor developed another lifelong relationship with a small mining village in the valleys of South Wales.
Cary Grant has been to one corner of Britain that will never forget the time that Cleopatra came to town.
Going through dramas, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, do you know these two women?" And I took a look at the both of them, and I burst into tears, and I said, "I'm getting divorced." And one of them said, "So am I," and the other one said, "It happens to all of us, dear." And you look like you need a drink. And the "So am I" was Elizabeth, and the "You need a drink," of course, was Ava Gardner.
See? Nothing better than a girly chat. Now, at one time, they were only the preserve of the rich and famous. But today, it seems Botox and dermal fillers are preserving everyone, even teenagers.
Kirsten O'Brien has met one of those teens determined to keep fresh-faced forever.
I mean, 15. But anyway, you at home can make your own mind up about Botox by watching the full documentary on BBC Three next Thursday.
Now, Stephanie, if Botox has been around when you were 15, you know, starting out in the...
Well, it was. I think it's something like, it's horse tranquilizer or something like that, isn't it? I'm sure it was around for veterinary purposes, but it certainly wasn't around to inject into your body.
No, but I mean at 15...
Oh, no, but at 15, I mean, I was a tomboy, I was still climbing trees. I mean, this girl is already provocative, you know. I don't know what the rush is, you know. The rush to what? What's she going to be like when she's 25? It's all going to be over. You know, by the time, there's no mystery anymore. There's no, you know, she's rushing into some kind of premature, seductive lifestyle that she's not ready for.
No.
Now then, your book, we'll move on to One from the Heart.
Yes, but I don't feel strongly about this, as you can see.
No, well, it does detail, I mean, all the Hollywood circles that you've mixed in. Well, it's an incredible read. But it all kind of started, didn't it, with a pair of sunglasses.
Yes, it did, but I mean, that was a happy accident with running into Blake Edwards, the director, in the hallways of. In fact, those are the glasses.
There you go.
Yeah. And I was wearing the same glasses, and at the time, those glasses were the bee's knees on the French Riviera, and in those days it took about 3 years for them to get to California, so naturally he was shocked to see someone like me wearing them, because he had been to the Riviera, and he brought his home. Anyway, it was because of that, and sports cars and everything, that he asked me to come and see him, and then tested me.
Amazing, amazing. And of course, Heart to Heart was a massive success internationally. It was about you playing crime-solving millionaires, of course. But there was a lot of practical joking on set, wasn't there?
We never stopped laughing. We worked 14 hours a day. We did 1 hour episode every 7 days, and on the 8th day we turned around and started a new episode. We did 24 hour-length shows in one television year.
And at one time, an orangutan made an appearance. What's all that about?
Well, we had a competition days, and I had a brass band show up with a big banner on the set to interrupt one of our takes. And one morning I was putting my makeup on in their homes, so I was way in the far end of the makeup on. There's a knock at the door, and I said, "Come in, come in." Knock, knock. Come in, come in. Come in, come in. And up, the door opens, and in walks an orangutan. As one does.
Of course,
happens every day.
Of course. And of course, you had a great relationship with William Holden. I mean, he was the love of your life, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And this was an opportunity writing this book. Not only, writing the book was really predicated by 2 sort of life-changing events for me. My mother's death and my own lung cancer. And that one goes through while recovering from both kinds of events. Seemed as if this was the thing to do, to have a catharsis not only about my mom and myself, but about Bill, and set the record straight on what kind of a man he was, his achievements, and his frailties.
Well, it's a great read. One from the Heart is out on the 7th of April.
Now then, a story that sounds like it is straight from a Hollywood war movie. A handful of Marines take a grueling journey across France to a Nazi-occupied harbour on a top-secret mission to sink enemy ships.
But it actually happened, and tomorrow their act of heroism will be remembered with the unveiling of a memorial in Western France.
Joe Crowley salutes the bravery and the sacrifice of the Cockleshell heroes. Now, you can sense even hearing Norman talk there, even though the injury saved his life.
Yeah, isn't it, that you didn't take part?
But you also know that they were the greatest generation.
Yeah.
They truly were. What extraordinary people. Even though they were 19 years older, but their 19 was very different than the 19 of today.
Of course. Joe, an incredible story there. But wouldn't it have been easier for them just to bomb the harbour?
Yeah, on the face of it, absolutely, when you look at everything they went through. But you've got to remember the bombing wasn't that precise. Lots of damage would have been caused. The French were our allies. We have undoubtedly killed a lot of the French people working in the docks or in the city. So it was thought it was better to go undercover to do this raid. And also, remember, we mentioned in the film, but the morale of getting behind enemy lines, a huge boost for the British, but also showing the French they hadn't been forgotten.
Yeah. So Hasler and Sparks were the only ones to escape, and how did they get out?
Yes, well, they were issued, I'll show you this, because this is absolutely original. This is a silk handkerchief sort of map that they were issued with. Now that was their only way to escape, really. They didn't have much information. There was no submarine picking them up again. They had to make their way through occupied France, through Vichy France, and escape that way, acting on their wits, of French citizens. They eventually met up with Mary Lindell, who was a British woman who sort of made it her mission to help Allied service people escape. She set up an escape network through the Pyrenees, through Spain, Barcelona, Madrid, and to Gibraltar. They were the first 2 to actually successfully go through that. And I mean, they got this map as well on the other side from the Resistance, a bit more detailed, but even so, it was very primitive. They were really living on their wits.
So what's planned for tomorrow then, Joe?
Yeah, tomorrow a memorial being unveiled. It's 4 stones. It's sort of you can see them there. It tells the story of the Cockleshell heroes, but also commemorates the lives and the risk that not just the Marines went through, but also the French citizens, who some of them were even executed because of the part they played. So very important. Former Marine Lord Paddy Ashdown will be there, as will 28 members of the Marines' families, sort of paying their tributes.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much, brilliant. Now, we love our wildlife on the One Show, but these next birds have a little bit of an image problem.
Yeah, even so, Mike Dilger is still raving about them.
Well, it's a lifetime commitment for me, and it's something that I entered into many, many years ago. We started the William Holden Wildlife Foundation in 1982, and he was a conservationist before the word was even in common use. So it's this is my fingernails get real dirty. You know, I'm right in there.
Yeah, you get stuck in. And we've got a picture here of you filling up a rhino.
Oh, yeah,
They regular or unleaded?
Putting some power in his tank. Yeah, yeah, there he is.
So that's out in Kenya.
That's in Kenya.
And you spend quite a lot of time there.
That's my second home.
Yeah.
Okay, and you talk quite a lot about that in the book, of course.
I do.
Yes. Okay. Brilliant. Well, that's all for tonight. Thanks, Stephanie, and good luck with One from the Heart.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we're going to be joined by Ice King and Ice Queen Torval and Dean. They're going to be sliding here onto our sofa.
Yes, okay. Well, it's lovely to have you in. It's been a really pleasure to meet you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, okay. And we'll see you tomorrow at 7.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye.